When people hear the name Joe Ranga, they often think of achievements, influence, and a growing legacy. But behind every recognized name is a human story, one built not just on success but on struggle, discipline, values, and vision. Joe Ranga, the man behind the name, is not about fame alone. It is about the mindset and character that shaped the journey. Joe Ranga's story begins like many others, with humble beginnings, unanswered questions, and a desire to become something more. There were moments of doubt, times when the road seemed uncertain, and situations where giving up felt easier than moving forward. Yet, what defined Joe was not the absence of obstacles, but the refusal to be defeated by them. Behind the name is a man who believed in growth over comfort. Every setback became a lesson, every failure a stepping stone. Joe understood that success is not an overnight miracle. It is a result of consistent effort, silent sacrifices, and unwavering focus when no one is watching. Joe Ranga also represents the power of self-belief. In a world quick to judge and slow to support, he chose to trust his own vision. He learned that confidence is built through action, not approval. This inner strength allowed him to stand firm even when others doubted his path. But beyond ambition and achievement, Joe Ranga is defined by values. Integrity, respect, and responsibility remained central to every decision. He understood that real success means lifting others while climbing higher, and that influence carries the duty to inspire, not intimidate. Today, the name Joe Ranga stands for resilience, purpose, and authenticity. It reminds us that behind every powerful name is a person who dared to believe, endured the process, and stayed true to who they are. The man behind the name proves that greatness is not inherited, it is built, one decision at a time. The name Joe Ranga may sound confident and established today, but behind it lies a deeply human story, one filled with unseen battles, quiet determination, and continuous self-discovery. This key point reminds us that a name does not begin with recognition. It begins with identity. Before the world noticed Joe Ranga, there was an individual learning, failing, questioning, and evolving. The journey behind the name is not defined by applause, but by the internal conversations that shaped every choice and direction. Behind the name is a person who understood early on that titles, labels, and public perception mean very little without substance. Joe Ranga was built through experiences that tested patience and character. Each challenge added depth, turning the name into a symbol of resilience rather than just a label. These experiences were not always visible to others, but they formed the foundation upon which everything else was built. The story beyond the name also represents growth through transformation. Joe Ranga did not remain the same person at every stage of the journey. With every phase of life, new lessons were learned, old habits were challenged, and perspectives were reshaped. The name evolved alongside the person, gaining meaning through effort, discipline, and self-awareness. This key point emphasizes that true recognition is earned internally before it is acknowledged externally. Joe Ranga became a name of substance because the person behind it invested in personal development, values, and purpose long before any form of recognition appeared. The story beyond the name proves that who you become matters more than what you are called, and that lasting impact is born from the unseen work done in silence. Joe Ranga's journey began far away from recognition, privilege, or certainty. There were no guarantees of success, no clear roadmap, and no shortcuts waiting at the starting line. His early life was shaped by ordinary circumstances, limited resources, and situations that demanded patience and adaptability. These humble beginnings were not a disadvantage. They became the training ground that shaped his mindset, resilience, and hunger to grow. Starting from the ground up taught Joe Ranga the value of effort. Every small opportunity mattered, and every step forward required intention. When resources are limited, creativity becomes essential, and Joe learned to make the most of what was available rather than complain about what was missing. This phase built a deep appreciation for progress, no matter how slow it appeared from the outside. Humble beginnings also instilled discipline and gratitude. Joe understood the difference between needs and desires, and this awareness strengthened his ability to stay focused. While others waited for ideal conditions, he learned to move forward despite imperfect circumstances. This mindset created mental toughness and prepared him for greater responsibilities later in life. Most importantly, starting small kept Joe Ranga grounded. Success, when it eventually arrived, did not erase his roots. Instead, it reinforced respect for the journey and empathy for others still at the beginning of theirs. His humble beginnings became a constant reminder that growth is earned through persistence, and that where you start does not limit how far you can go. The journey of Joe Ranga was never free from hardship. Struggles were not rare moments. They were recurring chapters that tested endurance, belief, and emotional strength. There were times when progress felt invisible, when effort went unrewarded, and when failure seemed louder than hope. Yet, resilience became the defining response to every setback. Instead of allowing struggles to break his spirit, Joe Ranga used them to build inner strength. Each challenge carried a lesson. Mistakes exposed weaknesses, and disappointments revealed areas that required growth. Joe did not view struggle as punishment. He viewed it as preparation. This mindset shifted the role of adversity from something to fear into something to learn from. With every obstacle, patience deepened and confidence matured, not through easy wins but through survival and persistence. Resilience also meant continuing forward without external validation. Many struggles were faced in silence, without encouragement or recognition. Joe learned to rely on self-discipline rather than motivation, and on consistency rather than bursts of energy. Even when results were delayed, effort remained steady. This ability to remain committed during uncertainty became a powerful strength. Through struggle, Joe Ranga developed emotional control and mental toughness. Pressure no longer caused panic, it created clarity. Difficult moments refined decision-making and strengthened resolve. Resilience transformed pain into purpose, shaping a mindset that refused to quit and continuously adapted. The struggles did not disappear, but Joe's ability to rise through them grew stronger with every challenge faced. Joe Ranga understood early on that real success is rarely the result of sudden breakthroughs or lucky moments. Instead of chasing shortcuts, quick wins, or temporary recognition, he committed himself to consistency. This meant showing up every day even when progress felt slow and results were not immediately visible. While others looked for faster routes, Joe focused on building strong habits that would last. Consistency required discipline, especially during periods when motivation faded. Joe learned that motivation is unreliable but routine is powerful. By committing to daily effort, small actions repeated over time, he created momentum that no shortcut could replace. These repeated efforts quietly compounded, turning ordinary days into extraordinary outcomes over the long run. Choosing consistency also meant embracing patience. Joe Ranga accepted that meaningful growth takes time and that rushing the process often weakens the foundation. He resisted the temptation to compare his progress with others, understanding that every journey follows its own timeline. Instead of being distracted by trends or external pressure, he stayed focused on steady improvement. Through this approach, Joe built trust in himself. Each consistent action reinforced self-belief and strengthened confidence. The absence of shortcuts made achievements more meaningful because they were earned, not borrowed. Consistency became a personal standard, proof that long-term commitment outperforms quick success and that sustainable growth is built one deliberate step at a time. At the core of Joe Ranga's journey lies an unshakable belief in himself. Self-belief was not something he was born with, it was something he built through experience, reflection, and action. In moments when external support was absent and doubt surrounded him, Joe chose to trust his own vision. This internal confidence became the force that kept him moving forward when others questioned his direction. There were times when criticism was louder than encouragement and uncertainty clouded every decision. Instead of allowing these voices to weaken his resolve, Joe learned to filter opinions and focus on his purpose. Self-belief gave him the courage to make difficult choices, take calculated risks, and stand alone when necessary. It allowed him to move forward without waiting for approval or validation from others. Joe Ranga's self-belief was strengthened through action. Each small achievement, each challenge overcome, reinforced his confidence. Rather than relying on positive thinking alone, he used consistent effort as proof that he was capable. This created a cycle where belief fueled action, and action strengthened belief, forming a powerful foundation for growth. Most importantly, self-belief helped Joe remain authentic. He did not shape himself to fit expectations. Instead, he shaped his path according to his values and goals. This inner certainty allowed him to stay focused despite fear, setbacks, or uncertainty, proving that believing in oneself is not arrogance. It is the courage to trust your own potential. For Joe Ranga, success was never measured by achievements alone. It was measured by the values that guided every step of the journey. From the very beginning, principles such as integrity, honesty, respect, and responsibility formed the foundation of his decisions. These values acted as an internal compass, helping him choose what was right over what was easy, even when no one was watching. As opportunities increased, so did the pressure to compromise. Joe understood that growth without values is fragile and short-lived. He remained committed to doing things the right way, believing that character defines a person more than recognition ever could. This commitment built trust, with others and with himself. creating relationships rooted in respect rather than convenience. Values also shaped how Joe Ranga treated people along the way. He recognized that success is never a solo effort and that every interaction leaves an impact. By showing fairness, empathy, and accountability, he created an environment where people felt valued and motivated. His actions reflected the belief that leadership begins with how you treat others, especially when you hold influence. When faced with difficult decisions, values provided clarity. Instead of reacting emotionally or impulsively, Joe relied on his principles to guide his choices. This consistency between belief and behavior strengthened his identity and reinforced authenticity. Values were not just ideals. They were daily practices that defined the man behind the name and anchored his journey with purpose and credibility. Joe Ranga's approach to leadership was never about authority, titles, or control. Instead, it was rooted in action and personal responsibility. He understood that true leadership begins with self-leadership, holding oneself to high standards before expecting anything from others. By consistently aligning words with actions, Joe earned respect naturally rather than demanding it. Leadership through example meant being visible in effort, not just in success. Joe did not distance himself from challenges or delegate responsibility when situations became difficult. He chose to lead from the front, demonstrating commitment, discipline, and accountability in real time. This behavior inspired others to adopt the same work ethic, not because they were told to, but because they witnessed it firsthand. Joe Ranga also believed that influence grows through humility. He remained open to learning, accepted feedback, and acknowledged mistakes without defensiveness. This openness created trust and encouraged collaboration, allowing others to feel empowered rather than overshadowed. His leadership style proved that strength and humility can coexist. By setting an example through consistency and integrity, Joe created a ripple effect. People around him were motivated to improve, take responsibility, and believe in their own potential. Leadership, in his view, was not about standing above others, but about walking beside them and setting a standard worth following. Joe Ranga's journey is not defined by a finished story, but by an ongoing process of growth and impact. A legacy is not something declared, it is something built daily through choices, behavior, and influence. Joe understood that what he does today shapes how he will be remembered tomorrow, and this awareness guided his long-term vision and actions. Rather than focusing only on personal success, Joe Ranga aimed to create meaning beyond himself. He recognized that true legacy lies in the lives touched, the standards set, and the inspiration passed on to others. Every decision carried a sense of responsibility, knowing that actions can motivate, guide, or influence people in ways that extend far beyond the present moment. A legacy in the making also reflects consistency in values and purpose. Joe remained committed to growth, learning, and self-improvement, understanding that stagnation weakens influence. By continuously evolving while staying grounded in principles, he ensured that his impact would remain relevant and lasting. Through resilience, discipline, and authenticity, Joe Ranga is shaping something larger than individual achievement. His journey represents a blueprint for those who believe that legacy is built through intention, effort, and service. The name continues to gain meaning, not through recognition alone, but through the depth of influence it creates over time. It seems that in the original speech outline, there were only 8 key points provided. Could you clarify if you want me to create a 9th key point and expand it, or did you mean to expand one of the existing 8 points further? Joe Ranga's story is not only about the journey so far, it is deeply rooted in a forward-looking vision. He understands that a name carries weight not just because of past achievements, but because of the direction it points toward the future. His vision is built on clarity, purpose, and the belief that progress is continuous. Resting on past successes is never an option. This vision is multidimensional. On a personal level, it includes growth, learning, and self-mastery, ensuring that he evolves alongside his goals. On a professional and societal level, his vision emphasizes impact, how his actions can create opportunities, inspire change, and foster innovation in others. Every decision he makes is filtered through this lens of long-term significance, balancing ambition with responsibility. Joe Ranga's vision is also rooted in adaptability. He recognizes that the future is unpredictable, and that success requires both foresight and flexibility. He prepares for challenges, embraces change, and constantly seeks new ways to expand his influence without compromising his principles. This forward-thinking mindset allows him to navigate uncertainty with confidence and purpose. Moreover, his vision is shared. He actively communicates ideas, motivates others, and cultivates collaboration to bring ambitious goals to life. It is not a solitary dream but a collective mission where the people around him grow alongside him. Through this vision, Joe Ranga ensures that the name he carries is not only respected but becomes synonymous with innovation, inspiration, and a legacy that continues to expand. Joe Ranga's journey is not limited to personal achievements. It extends into the lives of those he touches through influence. True influence, as he demonstrates, is not about commanding attention or seeking admiration. It is about inspiring action, encouraging growth, and motivating others to realize their potential. Every interaction, whether big or small, becomes an opportunity to impart lessons, share experiences, and spark confidence in others. Through his actions, Joe shows that influence is most powerful when it is genuine. People follow not because they are obligated, but because they see authenticity, dedication, and courage in the choices he makes. His influence is built quietly over time, in moments where he demonstrates consistency, integrity, and resilience. It is in these subtle, often unseen acts that he shapes perceptions, fosters trust, and encourages others to emulate positive behaviors. Joe Ranga also understands the responsibility that comes with influence. He approaches leadership and mentorship with humility, knowing that every word, decision, or example can impact someone's direction in life. This awareness ensures that his influence is used constructively, to empower rather than control, and to inspire rather than intimidate. Furthermore, inspiring others is a two-way process. Joe continuously learns from those he mentors and engages with, creating a cycle of growth and shared wisdom. His ability to connect personal experience with actionable guidance transforms influence into a lasting impact. Through this principle, Joe Ranga amplifies the meaning behind his name, showing that real success includes helping others rise alongside you and leaving a legacy of inspiration that extends far beyond personal accomplishments. One of the defining aspects of Joe Ranga's journey is his unwavering commitment to continuous learning. He understands that growth is not a destination, but a lifelong process, and that knowledge, both formal and experiential, is the foundation for innovation, resilience, and meaningful influence. Joe approaches every situation as an opportunity to gain insight, sharpen skills, and expand understanding, recognizing that stagnation is the enemy of progress. Learning for Joe is multidimensional. It is not confined to books or formal education. It includes observing human behavior, analyzing failures, reflecting on personal experiences, and staying curious about the world. He actively seeks lessons from both success and failure, understanding that even setbacks provide valuable knowledge that cannot be gained in times of comfort. This mindset transforms every challenge into an educational opportunity. Moreover, Joe Ranga embraces the idea that learning is most effective when combined with application. Knowledge without action is incomplete, so he constantly experiments, tests ideas, and adapts strategies based on what he learns. This practical approach ensures that learning translates into growth, making him more effective in decision-making, problem-solving, and leading others. Commitment to continuous learning also shapes his perspective on collaboration. Joe values the insights of others, knowing that collective wisdom often surpasses individual knowledge. By listening, engaging, and exchanging ideas, he not only improves himself but also empowers those around him to grow. Ultimately, Joe Ranga's dedication to learning demonstrates that mastery is not about having all the answers. It is about cultivating the ability to adapt, evolve, and remain open-minded. This principle reinforces the depth behind the name, showing that lasting success comes from curiosity, humility, and the relentless pursuit of understanding. Joe Ranga's journey is defined not only by perseverance and values but also by his ability to innovate and adapt. In a world that is constantly changing, he understands that clinging to old methods or resisting change can limit potential. Joe approaches challenges with a mindset that seeks creative solutions, embraces new ideas, and remains flexible in the face of uncertainty. This adaptability allows him to stay ahead, turning obstacles into opportunities and unpredictability into growth. Innovation for Joe is more than technology or trends, it is a way of thinking. He consistently questions the status quo, looking for better approaches and more efficient paths. He encourages experimentation, understanding that failure is an inevitable part of trying something new. Each failed attempt is reframed as a lesson, fueling smarter strategies and more informed decisions. This cycle of experimentation and learning strengthens both his personal growth and his ability to inspire others to embrace change. Adaptability also plays a key role in how Joe navigates relationships and collaborations. He recognizes that people, circumstances, and environments evolve, and he adjusts his approach without compromising his principles. This flexibility enables him to communicate effectively, solve conflicts, and maintain strong connections, even in unpredictable or high-pressure situations. By embracing innovation and adaptability, Joe Ranga demonstrates that progress is not linear. It requires openness to change, the courage to challenge old patterns, and the vision to create new possibilities. These qualities reinforce the meaning behind his name, showing that leadership and success are not static, but dynamic forces shaped by curiosity, creativity, and resilience. At the heart of Joe Ranga's journey lies the desire to leave a lasting impact, not only through achievements, but through the positive influence he has on people, communities, and industries. He understands that true success is measured by the difference one makes, and he consistently strives to ensure that his actions create value beyond personal gain. Leaving a lasting impact is a deliberate choice, one that shapes his priorities, decisions, and vision for the future. Joe Ranga approaches impact with intentionality. Every project he undertakes, every initiative he leads, and every interaction he has is guided by the question, how will this affect others? This focus ensures that his work carries meaning and resonates beyond the immediate results. He recognizes that influence is cumulative, built through small, consistent actions that accumulate over time, and that a single gesture of guidance or inspiration can ripple outward in ways that are often unseen. A lasting impact also requires a commitment to mentorship and empowerment. Joe Ranga invests in people, sharing knowledge, offering guidance, and creating opportunities for others to grow. He understands that success is amplified when others succeed alongside you. By nurturing talent and encouraging collaboration, he extends his legacy through the achievements of those he inspires and supports. Moreover, leaving a lasting impact is closely tied to integrity and authenticity. Joe ensures that his influence is genuine, constructive, and principled, knowing that actions without alignment to values are short-lived. His contributions are not designed for fleeting recognition. They are designed to create enduring change, whether through innovation, leadership, or the inspiration he imparts. Through this commitment, Joe Ranga demonstrates that a name becomes truly powerful when it is synonymous with positive change, inspiration, and meaningful legacy. His journey proves that impact is not accidental. It is cultivated through purpose, effort, and the consistent choice to make a difference that lasts far beyond oneself. Despite remarkable achievements and growing influence, Joe Ranga remains deeply rooted in gratitude and humility. He understands that success is never achieved in isolation. It is shaped by the support, guidance, and opportunities provided by others along the journey. This mindset allows him to remain grounded, appreciating both small victories and the lessons embedded in setbacks. Gratitude becomes not just an attitude, but a guiding principle in every decision and interaction. Humility for Joe is not a sign of weakness, it is a source of strength. It allows him to stay open to feedback, admit mistakes, and continuously learn from experiences and from others. By valuing the contributions and perspectives of those around him, he fosters strong relationships built on respect, trust, and mutual growth. This humility also enables him to lead with empathy, understanding the challenges others face, and inspiring them through example rather than authority. Cultivating gratitude and humility also shapes how Joe perceives challenges and success. Instead of becoming arrogant during times of achievement, he reflects on the journey, acknowledging the effort, support, and perseverance required to reach each milestone. Similarly, setbacks are approached with a mindset of learning rather than frustration, allowing him to grow stronger while maintaining perspective. This mindset reinforces the deeper meaning behind the name Joe Ranga. It ensures that influence is exercised responsibly, leadership remains authentic, and achievements are celebrated without losing sight of the values and people that made them possible. By cultivating gratitude and humility, Joe Ranga demonstrates that true greatness is measured not only by accomplishments but by character, self-awareness, and the ability to remain grounded while inspiring others. Joe Ranga's journey is deeply anchored in the ability to think beyond the present, to see possibilities where others see limitations. Visionary thinking allows him to anticipate trends, identify opportunities, and create strategies that go beyond immediate gains. He understands that progress is driven not just by action, but by foresight, the ability to imagine a future that others may not yet see and to take steps that make that future a reality. For Joe, visionary thinking is about combining imagination with practicality. He does not dream without a plan. He pairs ideas with actionable steps that can be implemented effectively. This balance ensures that his vision is not abstract, but achievable, inspiring those around him to believe in the same possibilities and work collectively toward shared goals. Visionary thinking also empowers Joe to embrace risk intelligently. When pursuing new opportunities, he evaluates potential outcomes carefully, prepares for challenges, and remains adaptable if circumstances shift. This strategic foresight allows him to move confidently in uncertainty, turning potential threats into avenues for growth and innovation. Furthermore, Joe Ranga's visionary thinking inspires others to expand their own perspectives. By sharing his foresight and articulating a clear vision, he motivates teams, partners, and communities to align their efforts with a larger purpose. This approach fosters collaboration, innovation, and a culture of forward thinking that extends beyond individual achievements. Through the power of visionary thinking, Joe demonstrates that leadership and influence are most effective when guided by imagination, clarity, and strategic insight. His ability to envision the future shapes not only his path but also the opportunities and potential he creates for others, reinforcing the meaning and impact behind the name Joe Ranga. Joe Ranga's achievements are not solely the result of talent or opportunity, they are the product of relentless discipline and unwavering focus. From the earliest stages of his journey, he recognized that brilliance alone cannot sustain success. Consistent effort and structured routines are what separate those who dream from those who accomplish. Discipline for Joe is a daily practice, a commitment to showing up even when motivation wanes, and a dedication to executing tasks with precision and purpose. Focus complements this discipline. Joe Ranga has cultivated the ability to concentrate fully on priorities, blocking out distractions and resisting the temptation to chase every opportunity that comes his way. This clarity of purpose allows him to channel energy efficiently, maximize productivity, and make decisions that align with long-term goals. Rather than scattering effort across multiple directions, he identifies what truly matters and commits to it with intensity. The combination of discipline and focus also enables Joe to overcome obstacles that might derail others. Challenges, setbacks, and uncertainty do not easily shake him because his routines and mental frameworks provide stability. By adhering to consistent habits, maintaining organized planning, and setting measurable objectives, he ensures that progress continues steadily, regardless of external circumstances. Moreover, mastery through discipline and focus extends beyond work. It touches character and personal growth. Joe applies the same principles to self-improvement, relationship building, and leadership. This holistic approach ensures that the results he achieves are sustainable, meaningful, and impactful. It reinforces the idea that excellence is not accidental but cultivated, and that the name Joe Ranga symbolizes not just ambition, but the disciplined effort and focused mindset required to turn vision into reality. One of the defining characteristics of Joe Ranga is his ability to pursue ambitious goals while remaining grounded in responsibility. Ambition drives him to aim high, explore new frontiers, and challenge conventional limits. Yet, he never allows the pursuit of success to compromise ethics, relationships, or long-term vision. For Joe, true achievement is measured not only by what is accomplished but by the manner in which it is achieved. Balancing ambition with responsibility requires self-awareness and careful decision-making. Joe Ranga evaluates the potential impact of his actions on others and considers the broader consequences of his choices. This sense of accountability ensures that his drive does not become reckless or self-serving, but instead serves a purpose that benefits both his personal growth and the well-being of those around him. Responsibility also extends to leadership and influence. Joe understands that as his reach grows, so does his obligation to set positive examples, mentor others, and act with integrity. Ambition without responsibility risks creating temporary gains, while responsible ambition cultivates sustainable success that leaves a lasting impression. By maintaining this balance, Joe inspires trust, loyalty, and respect from colleagues, peers, and communities alike. Furthermore, balancing ambition with responsibility strengthens resilience. Joe is able to take calculated risks, innovate, and push boundaries, knowing that he has considered the ethical, practical, and human dimensions of his actions. This approach allows him to pursue extraordinary goals while minimizing unnecessary harm or missteps. Through this principle, Joe Ranga demonstrates that greatness is not just about reaching the top. It is about climbing in a way that is principled, considerate, and sustainable. His ability to harmonize ambition with responsibility reinforces the depth behind his name and illustrates that true success is a combination of vision, action, and conscientious decision-making. A critical part of Joe Ranga's journey is his ability to embrace failure, not as a setback, but as a stepping stone toward growth and achievement. He understands that failure is an inevitable part of life, especially when striving for ambitious goals. Instead of fearing mistakes or letting them define him, Joe views each failure as an opportunity to learn, adapt, and strengthen his approach. This mindset transforms obstacles into tools for personal and professional development. Embracing failure requires courage and resilience. Joe does not shy away from challenges that carry risk, knowing that the potential for mistakes is a natural companion to meaningful progress. Each misstep provides insights into weaknesses, gaps in strategy, or areas requiring improvement. By analyzing failures carefully and extracting lessons from them, he turns temporary setbacks into long-term advantages. Joe Ranga also inspires others through his approach to failure. By openly acknowledging mistakes and demonstrating how to recover and grow from them, he sets an example of humility, perseverance, and continuous improvement. This approach encourages those around him to take risks, innovate, and challenge themselves without the fear of judgment or discouragement. Moreover, embracing failure fosters creativity and innovation. Joe recognizes that sticking only to safe, predictable paths limits potential. By accepting the possibility of failure, he creates space to experiment, explore new ideas, and push boundaries. This willingness to learn from mistakes drives both personal mastery and broader impact, ensuring that every attempt, whether successful or not, contributes to growth. Through this principle, Joe Ranga shows that failure is not the opposite of success. It is a vital component of it. By facing challenges with resilience, extracting lessons, and using setbacks as stepping stones, he builds a foundation for lasting achievement, continuous improvement, and meaningful influence. Joe Ranga's journey is defined not just by personal accomplishments, but by a deep commitment to inspiring a greater purpose. He recognizes that true fulfillment comes when actions extend beyond individual success and contribute to something larger than oneself. This principle drives him to lead, mentor, and innovate in ways that uplift others while aligning with a broader vision of positive impact. For Joe, inspiring a greater purpose begins with clarity of vision. He identifies objectives that are meaningful, not just profitable or convenient, and ensures that his work aligns with long-term values and goals. This clarity allows him to stay motivated, even during challenging times, and to guide others with confidence and authenticity. By articulating this purpose clearly, he helps people understand not just the what of his actions, but the why, fostering deeper engagement and shared commitment. Commitment to a greater purpose also requires empathy and understanding. Joe Ranga actively listens to the needs, aspirations, and challenges of those around him. This enables him to tailor his efforts in ways that maximize positive influence, creating opportunities for growth, learning, and empowerment. His ability to connect individual contributions to a larger mission inspires teams, communities, and collaborators to work together toward shared success. Furthermore, this principle reinforces accountability. Joe recognizes that pursuing a greater purpose carries responsibility. Every decision, action, and initiative can influence outcomes far beyond his personal sphere. By prioritizing ethics, integrity, and transparency, he ensures that his influence strengthens trust and motivates others to follow with confidence. Through a commitment to inspiring a greater purpose, Joe Ranga demonstrates that true leadership is about more than personal gain. It is about creating meaning, empowering others, and contributing to a legacy that transcends individual accomplishments. His dedication ensures that the name Joe Ranga stands not only for achievement but for lasting, transformative impact that inspires generations to come. Joe Ranga's journey demonstrates a profound commitment to building a culture of excellence, not just within himself, but in every team, project, and community he engages with. He understands that excellence is not an accidental outcome. It is cultivated through consistent standards, intentional practices, and an unwavering dedication to quality. By prioritizing excellence in thought, action, and interaction, he sets a benchmark that inspires others to elevate their own performance. Creating a culture of excellence begins with leading by example. Joe does not merely instruct or impose standards, he embodies them. Through meticulous attention to detail, disciplined habits, and a relentless drive for improvement, he demonstrates that excellence is achievable through commitment and consistency. His approach encourages those around him to mirror these behaviors, fostering an environment where high standards are not just expected, but naturally embraced. Joe Ranga also recognizes that a culture of excellence thrives on learning and feedback. He actively seeks constructive input, encourages reflection, and continuously adapts processes to enhance outcomes. Mistakes are treated as opportunities for growth rather than failures, creating a safe space where innovation, creativity, and accountability coexist. This mindset allows teams and individuals to strive for their best without fear of judgment, fueling collective improvement. Moreover, excellence for Joe is holistic. It is not limited to professional output but encompasses personal conduct, ethical standards, and contributions to the community. By aligning high performance with integrity, empathy, and responsibility, he ensures that excellence is meaningful, sustainable, and impactful. Through building a culture of excellence, Joe Ranga shows that greatness is amplified when it extends beyond the individual. His influence nurtures ambition, discipline, and pride in achievement, cultivating environments where potential is maximized and lasting impact is created. The name Joe Ranga thus becomes synonymous not only with success but with a standard of excellence that inspires others to reach higher and aim further. Joe Ranga's journey emphasizes the importance of nurturing creativity and innovation as essential drivers of growth and influence. He understands that in a rapidly evolving world, relying solely on traditional methods and established norms limits potential. By embracing creativity, Joe consistently seeks new ways to solve problems, approach challenges, and generate value, both for himself and for those he inspires. Creativity for Joe is not just about ideas, it is a mindset. He cultivates curiosity, explores unconventional solutions, and encourages experimentation. He views challenges not as obstacles, but as opportunities to reimagine possibilities and discover untapped potential. This proactive approach transforms uncertainty into a playground for innovation, where new strategies, methods, and perspectives can emerge. Innovation thrives in Joe's approach because it is coupled with action. He does not simply conceptualize ideas, he implements them, tests their effectiveness, and iterates to refine results. This cycle of ideation and execution ensures that creativity leads to tangible outcomes rather than remaining abstract. By demonstrating this process, he inspires others to transform their own creative impulses into meaningful action. Furthermore, Joe recognizes that fostering creativity and innovation requires an environment that encourages risk-taking and embraces learning from failure. He creates spaces where unconventional thinking is valued, diverse perspectives are welcomed, and experimentation is safe. This mindset not only drives personal growth but also empowers teams and communities to push boundaries and challenge limitations. Through nurturing creativity and innovation, Joe Ranga demonstrates that leadership and success are not just about following existing paths, they are about designing new ones. His ability to imagine, experiment, and implement ideas ensures that his influence continues to evolve, adapt, and inspire. The name Joe Ranga thus becomes a symbol of forward-thinking, originality, and the transformative power of creativity. As we reflect on the journey of Joe Ranga, it becomes clear that a name is more than a label, it is a story, a legacy, and a reflection of character. Behind every achievement lies resilience, discipline, and an unwavering commitment to values. Behind every influence lies empathy, integrity, and a desire to uplift others. Joe Ranga is not just a man who has accomplished much. He is a person who embodies principles that inspire, guide, and challenge us all to be better versions of ourselves. His journey reminds us that success is not defined by shortcuts or fleeting recognition, but by the consistent effort, vision, and authenticity we bring to life each day. It teaches us that a true legacy is built not only through achievements but through the positive impact we leave on people, communities, and the world. In the end, the story of Joe Ranga is an invitation for all of us to pursue our goals with purpose, to lead with integrity, and to live in a way that leaves a lasting mark. The man behind the name proves that greatness is earned through effort, shaped by values, and amplified through the lives we touch. And that is the true power of the name Joe Ranga.